Hi, and welcome to my pick a card reading. This is for the new moon in Leo in August of 2023. I invite you guys to pick which pile you feel most drawn to, and we'll get started. Happy new moon, everybody. Happy birthday to anybody experiencing a birthday in Leo season. And everybody who has a sun, moon, or rising in Leo, pay special attention to this, as it will probably affect you a little bit stronger than the rest. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoy. So if you pick pile number 1, you have the King of Cups, the Nine of Swords in reverse, the Temperance, Ten of Swords, and the Justice card. The vibes I get from this card pile is really like Lana Del Rey, Born to Die. So she's a Leo moon, and one of the things that I know she really talks about a lot is how like that's like really defined her and gave her courage that you'd probably think somebody with like a Cancer sun would probably be more reserved. But she's kind of been like much more bold with her life choices and not really been like a homebody. So with this, I kind of get somebody who's coming into their energy, because with cups we have emotion, and somebody's like kind of like reached the pinnacle of like, I would say her, she's like a great example of somebody who like you'd expect her to be weak and sad, and like a lot of her songs are about like hope being like a dangerous thing to have, but she has it. And like with Temperance and the Nine of Swords, that's somebody who like has come through like a spiritual journey where things have been a lot, like just like a lot of like communication, maybe a lot of um thoughts that like really were attacking their spirituality, and then they're coming into like a mastery, where like I guess you're having balance. And this Temperance card is really telling me that like with this Leo new moon, you're coming to like an understanding that yes, I did have to go through a lot of struggle to get here. Yes, I was judged for my thoughts. I was judged for my emotions. I was judged because I had to find how to balance all the pain and all the things that people told me about myself, because I was looked at a certain way with the Ten of Swords. It's like everybody saw me as somebody who was coming into this idea of like, oh, she's like, she thinks too much of herself, or maybe she's like trying to push into like a new era. Because with Ten of Swords, I really see somebody who's like, maybe you had a lot coming into like yourself because you had to figure out maybe what path you take for your career. And I know this really wasn't going to be like a money reading or anything like that, but I would say like for her, even I keep going back to Lana for some reason, but anyway, I heard that she pretty much was like working at like a Waffle House, basically serving food up to people, and she sings with her customers. And maybe a lot of people have thrown a lot of hate at her because maybe she gained some weight and she's been kind of like not who she everybody thought her status was. Maybe they've throwing shade at her, maybe even thrown shade at for what you do for a living. And I'm really sorry that has happened to you, but I can tell you that justice will be served, because you're going to be looked at somebody who has conquered and who has overcome and who is such a role model that like when people look at you, even your haters can help be like, all right, I see you doing your thing. All right, I got to give you your credit. All right. At the end of the day, you definitely deserve your props, because even if you're not my cup of tea, maybe you're not my flavor that I pick at Starbucks, but you deserve to be on the menu because you really have come into your own. And with this Leo new moon, please, guys, don't stop. Just go for everything you can and really own it, because you've worked so hard and justice will be served. So, with all the love and everything, I hope you guys, if this was the pile you picked and it resonated, let me know. If you want to pick another pile, stick around and I'll let you know what's up, girl or boy or whoever you identify as. Um, all right, guys, next pile, and thank you. Subscribe, like, and share, please. All right, pile number 2. So these are your cards, guys. Leo new moon. So right away, I think you can see that all the cards are upright. This is somebody who's just like owning it. And I hate to kind of drag a celebrity example in here, but my ideal person who embodies this right now, you might not like her, but everybody calls her America's sweetheart, Taylor Swift. Oh my gosh. She's like the epitome of like Queen of Swords, King of Swords, Queen of Cups, Magician, and Nine of Pentacles. She's a Sagittarius, so that's where we got that nine. But going back, I would say that you guys are kind of somebody who swords are always like air signs. So this is somebody who like is like the queen of like communication. Like, and to me, it's somebody who's like really sharp with their words. But since we also have the Queen of Cups, we have somebody who can also be sharp with their emotions in a way that's really tactical and skillful and kind of like gets the admiration of everybody around them. We also have the King of Swords in between there. So it tells me that, like, even though, like, they're facing each other right here. So, like, when I see that, I see two people who've like come into like their own and they're owning the fact that they are a balanced person when it comes to being somebody who has like a voice that can make a message come through. And then we have the Queen of Cups balancing that with emotion because it's not just super logical, because air is usually like logical science. And then we have the Magician card. So one, you're like somebody who is really making shit happen. Like you're manifesting like crazy, guys. And the Nine of Pentacles, oh my God, guys, this is like an amazing spread. So I would say that this is somebody who's just gonna have blessings upon blessings upon blessings because they've mastered something that took a lot of mental strength. Because this is like right here is mental, and the Magician's mental, Nine of Pentacles, is like teaching it to somebody. So at the end of the day, you've come into a point where like you're so good at it that you could teach it, and you like this is like just mastering something to the completion of completion. But like you're top of your game. I don't know how else to say this, guys. This is just like really, really good news. Um, you're gonna have a really good outcome if you keep steady, because this lady is real serious. So maybe you start off looking at something and you were looking at just like the goal itself. You focus on the goal, and then you're like, okay, now I need to make sure my emotions, my mentality is right so that I can manifest the outcomes and the ideals and teach the things that I need to teach. So that, because once you have the nine, that's when you can press the 10. But before you get to the nine, you have eight, and eight is money. So, like, I'm not going to say like there's isn't money involved in this, but there's a pentacle right there next to the magician, but he's kind of focused on like his own thing right there. So, like, he has a sword, he has the wand, he has the cup, and he has the pentacle. So, you definitely have everything you need to really start getting to the point where you can really get the outcomes that you want. And this is brilliantly amazing. And I'm so happy for you guys. If this resonated with pile two, let me know in the comments, and let me know also if you like the way I read. Share, like, subscribe, and stick around if you want to hear pile number three. Thank you. Pile number three. So here is somebody who is really like, well, I would say they have like a lot of energy, and they're exchanging this energy with others, and it's allowing them to manifest multiple things in their life. And they're kind of like sitting somewhere, but they're like still very much wrestling with themselves, because you notice that we only have like people who, like, the highest card we have here is probably the Knight of Pentacles, and that's somebody who's just coming into like an understanding of how things work for manifestation, and they're really just like wrestling with a lot of things. This will be a lot about you kind of being more like in your like, well, with the Nine of Wands, I would say you're kind of struggling with how to work with things and how to look at things around you. And you're going to have to really work on that communication. I'm sorry to make it seem like there's a lot of work involved, but having this card way out here just tells me that, like, it's like a duet and you're really wrestling to get what you need done. You probably might have some reservations still, but I can tell you that you're still progressing, because at the end of the day, once you go back to, like, I guess, trying to overcome the show and the riddles and the little trickeries and the nuances, because sometimes people will just like test you, and maybe sometimes you're just being tested, and you gotta learn how to balance that. The more that you give away, the more that you have. And that kind of brings me into like Halsey, and I feel like she's kind of like somebody who's like always like wrestling with her music. Like even the way she sings, it's like very like raspy. She's like trying to like force things, almost a lot with her like relationships, and like, but this is more like you trying to force money and force things that will benefit you in the long run. So like you're trying to like get an understanding of how to have the emotions and the habits that allow you to progress to have the pentacles that you want, which is, more of the good outcomes, maybe more vacations. Maybe it's not just money. It might be just more free time and the opportunity to go see people that you want to go see. Um, but it definitely feels like you're in a environment where you're having to really wrestle with others and balance your emotions. So I really hope that you come into understanding of how to balance that energy with this new moon and just be that beautiful soul that you know you are, because you know how to make the money. I'm not seeing somebody who doesn't know what to do. I'm seeing somebody who's having to watch their back, because the way they'll get that money is because they don't seem like they have that anger. Because you know how, like, here, in order to get that, they had to cooperate. So a lot of cooperation is going to have to be happening, and maybe negotiations, maybe dealing with exchanges of energy, and really understanding like, are you bringing equal things to the table, or are you just expecting people to give you things because of what you think you're worth? Because not everyone's going to look at you and see what you're worth right away unless you're able to like really show them. So yeah, if you like the way that I read, this is pile number 3. I hope it resonated. If it doesn't, that's perfectly okay. um, this might not be the message for you at this moment in time, so maybe it'll resonate in the future. Happy New Moon in Leo. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Now this is pile number 4. So for the new moon in Leo, your message is more, it's like somebody who wants to be like maybe they got to the point where they're seeing results now in their job or in their efforts. Like they're seeing a little bit of progress. With the Page of Cups and the Knight of Wands, I see somebody who can see the money. Like literally, this guy's looking at all his cash. He's leaned over and he's like, man, I see it right there. Like it's just all right here. But then it's like your emotions aren't there. It's like you don't love what you do, or you're not enjoying it as much. And with this new moon in Leo, I invite you guys to kind of think about like, what can I do to enjoy this? Because there's no escaping the fact that in life we all need money. We gotta pay our bills. That's why people are protesting and striking and doing all this stuff out there to kind of justify their worth. And so I see somebody who was asking, or like, I guess they had the feeling that they needed more. They got off their butt. They had all the energy to manifest just enough to become a knight. And then they got to the point where, like I said, and they saw the money. But then I guess, with the 5 of Cups, I see somebody who didn't really like the feeling of being in the spotlight, or maybe the feeling of being seen as somebody who's trying to manifest all this money. And maybe it kind of like made you question, like, oh my gosh, how would my family feel about me if I got all this money, but like they never could come to my house, or like, I saw this movie called it's really crazy, but it's called Jerk. It's by Steve. It's not by Steve Martin, but he's like the main character. And in that movie, he's like all about like trying to get out of where he is. I'm not gonna go into details about this movie, but basically, he's somebody who gets all the money he wants. And the movie is called Jerk because basically he was a jerk at some point. And I noticed in the movie that whenever he was, like, getting all this money, he would send something in the envelope back to his family, and maybe that's something you guys are doing, but when he sent that money back, like, I always noticed he never ever invited this family back to the house. So, this whole movie, he's, like, writing letters to his family and sending money, but his family never ever comes to that house, and I was wondering, like, hmm. And at the end of the movie, I'm not gonna tell you what happens, but basically, it's definitely somebody who feels like maybe like you feel like a jerk or you feel like you've been a jerk. I'm sorry if you haven't, but maybe you feel like the actions you've been taking haven't been putting you into the light uh, emotionally or on in front of your peers or anybody because a lot of these cards are very lonely. Like there's nobody else in any of these cards. It's just like one person struggling to be seen a certain way, then realizing, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it to be looked at this way because I just want to be rich or because I want to be comfortable or because I want to do this or do I want to go back to toiling hard and maybe go my 9 to 5 because maybe my side hustle isn't making like what I thought it would be making at this point and it's getting a little bit uncomfortable because people are making me feel some type of way about my results when I know I can see the results because I know I'm the Knight of Wands. I know I'm the Page of Cups. I know I'm starting from this point where I have mastery and know how to become a page and a knight, which is pretty close. Like, like yeah, you're not a queen or a king yet, but shit. Sorry, you're close. You're getting there. You're getting there. So keep going, please keep going. And this Leo new moon conclusion is pile 4. Um, just try your best. So don't give up. Read the book, The War of Art. It talks a lot about resistance and overcoming resistance. I hope that helps you guys. And this has been your New Moon in Leo reading for August 2023. I hope this resonates. And thank you so much. Like, share, and subscribe.